Hello everybody, I have not uploaded in about 4 months and I'm sorry about that. Honestly, I just kind of lost interest in doing the channel. I did it for a few months and I was really working on it. And I just kind of burnt out a bit. But now I'm trying to get back into it, trying to get back with the videos. That was a ding. Funny enough, I actually continued growing while I was gone. So like I actually have 225 subscribers right now, which is more than I had when I left. So I actually grew a bit during that break, I'll call it. Anyways, to hop back into it, I will be doing this dialect test, how y'all and yous and you guys talk. This right here is a dialect test done by the New York Times, and it basically determines what dialects of English you speak. And I've always been really interested in this kind of stuff, so I thought you guys might want to watch me take it. Question number 1. How would you address a group of 2 or more people? You all, you/yous, definitely not that one. Probably not you all either. You lot, nope. You guys, maybe. Yuns, nope. Yins, no. You, maybe. Other, probably not y'all. I'd probably either say you guys or y'all. How are y'all doing? How are you guys doing? I'm gonna go with you guys because I think that's a bit more natural for me. Though y'all's a close second there. Then, oh, that's cool. A little map right here. What do you call the area of grass between the sidewalk and the road? Berm, parking. Between the sidewalk and the road? I don't have a special word for that. Do you call the sweet spread that is put on a cake frosting or icing? Both. I call it both, interchangeable. How do you pronounce caramel? Caramel. Caramel. Well, not caramel. Caramel. I use the 3-syllable caramel. How do you pronounce the second syllable of pajamas? With the vowel palm. With the vowel and paw, I use pajamas. I don't say pajamas, I say pajamas. So there we go. What do you call an easy high school or college class? I don't really call it a blow off that much, but if I had to use a word, I'd use blow off. What do you call the area of grass in the middle of some streets? Boulevard, midway, traffic island, neutral ground. I have no word for this. I don't have a word for that specifically. What do you call the long sandwich that contains cold cuts, lettuce, and so on? Sub, grinder, hoagie, hero, poor boy, bomber, Italian sandwich, baguette. Who calls it a baguette? Sarnie. I have no word for this. I would call it a sub. What do you call the small road parallel to the highway? Yeah, no, I don't. I could read all of those, but I don't have a word for that. What do you call small road parallel to the highway? I've never heard of this. Like, I've seen them before. I just don't have a word for it. I haven't thought about it too much. What is the distinction between dinner and supper? Supper is an evening meal. Dinner is eaten earlier. Supper is an evening meal. Dinner is the main meal. Dinner takes place in more of a formal setting than supper. There is no distinction. They're both the same meaning. I don't use the word supper. I don't use the word dinner. I do not use the word supper. I know, like, generally what it means, but I do not use it at all, and I would not be able to really pinpoint one of those. What do you call the large wildcat native to the Americas? Mountain lion, cougar, puma, mountain cat, panther. Yeah, see, there's a bunch of names for it. See, I'd call it either a panther or a mountain lion. I'd probably say mountain lion before I say panther, though, so I'm gonna go with mountain lion. What do you, how do you pronounce the words Mary, Mary, and Mary? All three are pronounced the same. All three are pronounced differently. Mary, Mary, pronounced the same. I pronounce all of them the same. Mary, Mary, Mary. What do you call the night before Halloween? I don't got a word for it. Gate night? Who calls it gate night? If you call it gate night, please comment below. Got gate night, trick night, mischief night, cabbage night. Ooh, I like cabbage night. I have no word for it. I'm gonna start calling it cabbage night, though, from here on out. What do you call the thing from which you might drink water in at school? Bubbler, water bubbler, drinking fountain, water fountain. I call it a water fountain. as do all normal people. Bubbler. My father, is from Massachusetts, and he told me that sometimes they do call it up there a bubbler, but I do not call it a bubbler. I've never used the word bubbler. I've always called it a water fountain. Not a drinking fountain, a water fountain. That's what I've always used. What would you call a sale of unwanted items on your porch in your yard? Tag sale, yard sale, garage sale, rummage sale, thrift sale, stoop sale, carport sale, sidewalk sale, jumble sale, car boot sale, patio sale, other. I would use either the word yard sale or garage sale, though I'm going to say garage sale as that's probably what I'd use first. How do you pronounce the first syllable? Jesus Christ. How do you pronounce the first syllable? This is ridiculous. Syllable. I said syllable. I've never said it like that in my life. I don't know. It's got me thinking about how I say crap too much. How do you pronounce the first syllable of lawyer? Rhymes with boy. Boyer, lawyer. Rhymes with flaw. Lawer? No. Ew. Lawyer. Rhymes with boy. What do you call a drive-through liquor store? I've not heard of a drive-through liquor store, ever. What do you call the insect that flies around in the summer and glows in the dark? Lightning bug, firefly. I use lightning bug and firefly interchangeably. Peony wally. I have no word for this. Other. Other. I mean, I know what lightning bug and firefly mean. Obviously, I know what they mean. I've never used the word peony wally in my life, nor have I ever heard of it. Though I would call it a June bug. I think that they can refer to different bugs. I know down here, in the summer, we get these bugs that glow green, and I call them June bugs. That's what I call them down in Miami. I think they're probably a different bug from firefly or a lightning bug, but a little insect that flies around in the summer and glows in the dark, I call that a June bug. Which I think, I haven't checked, but I think it's like an Americanized version of a Spanish term. Anyways, what do you call something that is across both streets from you at an intersection or diagonally? Kitty corn? None of those. What is a kitty wampus? Great. I only use diagonal for this. Yeah, I just say it's diagonal. What do you call a traffic jam caused by drivers slowing down to look at an accident or other diversions that are rubbernecking? Rubbernecking is an activity slowing down, gawking that causes traffic jam. I know for the traffic jam itself. Yeah, I've heard of rubbernecking. I probably want to use rubberneck. I'm gonna put rubbernecking just because I know what it means, and I would use it as an activity, but not the traffic jam itself. Though I don't really use rubbernecking a lot. What do you call a sweetened carbonated beverage? A soda, not a pop or a Coke or a soft drink or a tonic or lemonade. Well, lemonade's its own thing. Coca-Cola, fizzy drink, dope, whatever. Who calls it dope? But yeah, I remember I did live in Minnesota briefly, and I remember up there they called it pop, but I've always called it soda. And where I live now and where I used to live before Minnesota, they called it soda too. So, kind of funny that Minnesota calls it pop. What do you call a big road on which you drive relatively fast? Highway, freeway, parkway, turnpike, expressway, yada yada. Okay, so there is the Florida Turnpike, which I know about, but I would call the Florida Turnpike a highway. So that's funny. But yeah, no, highway is the word I would use for that. What do you call a small freshwater lobster often found in lakes and streams? Crawfish, crayfish, whatever. I would call it a crawfish. Or crayfish. No, I call it a crawfish. How do you pronounce aunt or ant? Okay, here's the thing. With a vowel in ah to sound like ant, with a vowel in cot, I have the same vowel in ah, cot, and ant or aunt. It sounds like ain't. I use when referring to the general aspect of an aunt, but I use aunt when I refer to a specific person. I use aunt when referring to a general concept of yada yada aunt when name. Other. I'm going to put other because Some of my aunts slash aunts I say aunt with, some I say aunt with, and some I interchange it. Typically, my aunts from the more southern regions of the United States I will call aunt, but from the more northern regions I will call aunt, just because that's how they're called by other people, so that's just how I naturally say them. So yeah, some of my aunts slash aunts I'll call aunt, some I will call aunt, and then some of them I change it around. Some of them I'll sometimes call aunt, sometimes I'll call them aunt. So I'm going to put other. What do you call a traffic situation in which several roads meet in a circle? A roundabout, obviously. Not a rotary or a circle or a traffic circle, though traffic circle makes perfect sense as a term. Traffic circus, I have no word for this other. I would call it a roundabout. Now let's see which dialects are most similar to me. Show least similar. Sure. Show me that it's loading. It is loading. That's great. Just fantastic. See the pattern of your dialect in the map below. 3 of the most similar cities are shown. And is it going to tell me what those are, or is it just going to keep loading? You must wonder. Let's read about this quiz while we wait. The data for this quiz and map shown here come from the 35,000. I just said 35,000. 350,000 survey response collected from August to October 2013 by Josh Katz, a graphics editor for New York Times, who developed this quiz and is in turn speaking American, a visual explanation of American regional dialects. Then it goes on, and why is this not loading? Come on, man. Come on. Show least similar. Come on. Here we go. All right. So, okay. So my most similar. Okay. So this is actually pretty cool. So I was so this right here, South Florida, right here. This is where I live now, and it is very red. So that makes sense. People around my area talk like me. And then I was born and lived when I was little up in this area in Georgia. So it's kind of funny that this little bit is red surrounded by this. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. I also lived in Minnesota very briefly up around this area, but not a lot of influence there. So these show your least distinctive answer for each city. So apparently So yeah, so these are ones that are not similar. Which ones are similar? Show most similar, please. And my most similar cities are Fort Lauderdale, Pembroke Pines, and Miami. It's Hialeah. That makes perfect sense, as that's the area that I live, so my dialect would reflect my area. How do you pronounce caramel? 3 syllables. Yep. What do you call Big Row, Highway, and other ones are highway about this quiz. And so yeah, that's that. It seems pretty accurate. Yeah, seems pretty accurate to me. Other areas with similar dialects I find interesting. Missouri has a weirdly similar dialect to me. So does up in New York and bits over here in California. The least similar seems to be this kind of northern Midwestern region, like the Dakotas, Minnesota, Montana, Idaho. These states, and Louisiana is pretty blue, surrounded by less blue places. So yeah, these places have the least similar dialects to myself. Also, there's really dissimilar part up in Kentucky, so that's fun. So yeah, that's my personal dialect. If you guys want to take this quiz yourself, I will include this link right up here down in the comments below. Leave a comment and a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna try to get back to some of my more normal content. I just wanted to put this out kind of as a coming back video. So yeah, see ya.